everyone, Jaymes Mansfield here, bringing you yet another tutorial. Today's show is going to be a little different. I'm going to teach you how to sew today. Isn't it exciting? Alrighty, we're making today a very fabulous dance costume. Very simple, any beginning drag queen could do this. Let me run down the list of things you're going to need for this project. You're going to need, of course, something to cut out your pattern. So I recommend a very good pair of scissors. Next, you're going to need something to trace out your design. You could use a fabric pencil, a fabric marker. Those tend to be a little expensive, so I'm just using a white eyeliner. It's dual purpose. I can line my waterline and sketch out a beautiful dress all at the same time. Okay, you're going to need something to attach the patterns together. So I am using straight pins. Isn't that fun? Okay. And you're going to need two types of threads. So I'm using something closest to the fabric's color. This is what's going to attach it when you split the seams and see it. This is what's going to be holding it together. That way it's almost invisible to the human eye. And next you're going to need something very close to the fabric as well, but a little lighter. This is what I'm going to use to finish the garment off with. It's going to be the little stitching around here that people might see, but it's just to make it look more finished so you don't have raw edges. And next you're going to need something to trace around to make your pattern. I am using a leotard bodysuit that fits me very, very well. I'm sure you have this in your arsenal of foundation garments. Everyone should be able to find a size that works for them. This is a XL, and you're going to need some pretty fabric. This is a very good fabric for drag queens because it's two-way stretch. Stretch fabric is a drag queen's best friend because it goes out far and cinches in, so not only does it fit your shape, it makes you look slimmer too. And of course, the most important thing in any sewing drag queen's arsenal, a seam ripper. You're gonna be doing more of this than sewing. Now kittens, by no means am I a professional seamstress, but I do make all my own costumes and they look fabulous. So take my word for it, you can do this. Come along with me on the ride and let's make a dance costume together.
Right, let's start sewing. Right now I'm laying out my fabric. Make sure you lay it down on the wrong side. Stretch fabric can be a bitch to lay down properly, so really take your time with it and make sure it's laid down flat as possible. And I mean flat. Flat as Kate Moss. Now take your bikini and lay it down flat on the fabric as well. Alright, making sure all the edges line up. You'll make sure there's a bit of space on the ends of this. That way you're not cutting too much onto the edge and you cut the fabric too short. Really take your time making sure this is neatly on there. Now just take your white pencil that you're going to trace around it with and slowly go around the body shaper. Just tracing a nice line. Doesn't have to be very thick, doesn't have to be very detailed. Just has to give you a nice guideline for when you're going to cut everything out. Now comes the moment where we trace around the crotch area. Alright, now we're going to take our straight pins and we're going to pin around the edges here. I'm just going to take some of my straight pins and pin the fabric down. Use as many pins as you want. I recommend using more than less because it's going to keep this fabric from moving around too much, especially if you're a beginning sewer. The more pins, the better. I also highly recommend wearing acrylic nails while you do anything. It makes everyday activities seem so much easier, you know? They don't get in the way at all, I swear. And taking our scissors, I'm just going to cut around that fabric. I'm not cutting exactly on the edge, I'm just cutting around the pins, as you can see. Because you still want to leave a bit of fabric there for a seam allowance. That way, in case you cut too small, you can let it out a bit more. You don't ever want to be stuck. It's better to cut out too much than too little because you can never go wider on something that's too small. Taking my pencil, I'm labeling the front and back with an F and a B. And taking my scissors, I'm parting those fabrics and cutting around the collar area of the front top.
Now we're ready to start sewing. What we're going to need to do is adjust our settings. Just for the sake of this video, I'm going to change it around. For stretch fabric, you're going to want to use a zigzag stitch. That's going to be these guys right here. See, they're zigzags. Kind of like if someone's shooting at you, you want to do a zigzag running pattern. That's what drag queens do for their costumes. We're going to move around a lot, so we got to have a lot of space for movement. So let's turn the dial here. I usually do 3 because it's a little looser. And then we're good to go.
Always start with your needle down and hold down the back stitch lever to lock in your first stitches. And I'm taking my fabric and along the edges, I switched my sewing machine to the zigzag setting. A zigzag stitch is what you're going to need to learn if you're ever going to make any drag costumes. The reason we use the zigzag stitch is because stretch fabric moves. It stretches, so you need a stitch that moves along with the fabric. Now as you can see here, I'm laying out my body shaper again, This is the part where I'm going to trace out the front of the bikini so that way you don't get a weird vajayjay going on. You don't want to have a huge camel toe on the front of your costume. And then taking my scissors and cutting around the area I just traced out. That way you get a nice line with the crotch of the costume. And now it comes time to just finish the garment out. I'm going to take my pins and fold the garment inward on the wrong side and just pin around that. Now when you become more advanced at this, you won't really have to pin this anymore. I'm just doing this for the video to show you what you need to do in order to finish the garment properly, to make sure it's not uneven or anything. And you sew that just the same way you'd sew the rest together. Just feed it through the machine slowly, and before you know it, you have a finished garment. This part may take you several different go-throughs to get it right on you. Sometimes when you're finishing off a garment, the machine really likes to jam, so really take your time doing this. And take it off and stretch it out, that way you're not locking in seams too hard to make sure it's not going to bust open on you the minute you put it on. Now I'm just going to finish the rest of the garment and then I'll see you soon, okay kittens?
Welcome back. Wasn't that fun? All right, let me hold up the finished result. You should have something that looks similar to this. Now it's a little plain, I do understand that. I can't teach you everything. I can teach you how to sew, but I can't teach you to be creative. I'm sorry. Let me show you one I already did earlier. This is a more embellished version. As you can see, I added a bow, I added some rhinestones, and some dangly fringe to make it more fun when I dance around and spin. Look at that. Look at the spin that gives you. Like Tina Turner. Anyways, thank you so much for watching my video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and comment down below and let me know what you want me to do next. I am listening. I like to think of myself as the Dear Abby of drag. Call me Dear Drabby. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, kittens. Until next time. Bye.
Click here and get ready with me. Or see me give myself a boob job in my contour video. Come on, click it. If you don't click it, I'll tell Trixie Mattel to block you.